Can you just reply me in the chat if you can see my screen? You have this chat button uh, at the bottom of the screen. You can just see it beside your timer. The question mark would be there. You can just use it for chatting, for throwing up questions in between the webinar, after the webinar. So I'll be taking up your questions there. More minutes to go. So let's just wait for more people here. Thanks, Ravi, for responding. Hey, Amin, thanks for joining. Wow, I can see two Amin joining the webinar. Can you also see that chat button at the bottom of your screen? You can just use that anytime you want to chat. I'll just keep looking at the questions frequently and would try to interact with you during the slides. So it would maintain the connectivity so it won't get static while conversations. So you can just see the chat beside your timer right at the bottom of your screen. And you can also raise your hands. You can just use these emojis over here, your reactions. Hi, Dia. Thanks for joining. Okay, it's your other device. Okay, nice. By the way, I would like to know from you guys what's the best time to conduct a webinar? Like, what's appropriate time for you? Like for last three sessions, I am doing it at 7 p.m. So what's more convenient for you? I would just like to know from you guys, so we can maybe change or maybe optimize our schedule accordingly. You can just answer in the chat, so it helps me to schedule more accordingly as per your needs, so we can connect frequently. We do it bi-weekly, by the way, so it would be good, like, if you let me know like what's working for you, what time works for you, maybe at the weekends, maybe any mid time of the week. What can be the best time for you, best day for you to join the webinars? So 5 minutes more to go. Let's wait for more people for 5 minutes, and then we can start with our slides. Like, you can say the topic, how to achieve 99% deliverability. We can just move ahead with the discussion. Yeah, Ravi, I'm here to help you out. Like, it's a problem for many of the people who actually start cold email outreach, or they are doing cold email outreach for maybe for some time. But deliverability is one of the challenges that that always remains. So, yeah, I'll share some of my tactics that I used and how easily you can do it. So it depends largely upon experimentation and what actually working for you and what's not. So thanks for joining, and I guess you'll get something good out of here. Hi, Pawan. Thanks for joining. 3 more minutes to go. Let's wait for more people. Hey, Nicholas, I would just love to know your time zone. I'm from the US. Hey, Betty, thanks for joining. It might be around 10 or 11 a.m. according to Eastern Standard Time, I guess. So we'll be starting in 2 more minutes. I can see 14 people around here. Hey, John, thanks for joining. One more minute to go, then we can start. So if you want to chat, I would just like to guide you that you can use that question mark icon at the bottom of the screen that is beside your timer in order you want to chat in this session. How you should schedule webinar for? Yeah, Ravi, I can really think about that. Yeah, if it's working for everyone, we can definitely do it. Yeah, because it's audience around the globe, so we have to adjust accordingly. Maybe that this if this is the time working for everyone, then we can do it. Yeah. Thanks for the suggestion. So I guess it's time to start. It's already 7:30 Indian Standard Time and maybe 10 a.m. in Eastern Standard Time. So, hey Devika, thanks for joining in. And thank you everyone for joining who are actually present here. More people will join in. So we can just start here. So, and before that, I would just like to quickly tell you that if you want to connect in the chat, you can just use that question mark icon at the bottom of your screen. If you just hover over at the bottom, you'll see the button coming up beside your timer. So maybe I can frequently ask your questions in the chat while during your presentation. So we can start, I think. Yeah, so this is the slide. First of all, thank you very much for joining. And it's very motivating when people join in to look after some of the topics around cold email. We do it bi-weekly and we come up with the topics that actually bother you. And I try to come up with a solution that I have actually experimented and used with. So it's just very nice to share with you all guys. So let me just start. So as you can see, the topics for today's webinar is that how to achieve a 99% deliverability. Well, that's not an overstatement. It's actually achievable. And in this webinar, I will tell you how you can actually use the strategies and the way I use and I prescribe to many people, and it will help you around to get the crack for your deliverability. So let me just first quickly give my introduction. Like I am Pritesh, I am product marketer at Sales Handy. You can call me customer's voice. I help people grow cold email outreach from scratch, and I also make sure that their revenue pipeline is profitable and it scales with cold email outreach. And I also keep on making resources. I keep on doing these kind of webinars, creating videos in order to fix your deliverability issue, because deliverability is the central theme around cold email automation and cold email challenge. So yeah, that was all about me. And if someone is new here, so I would just like to throw a quick poll if you can just answer it. If you are using Sales Handy already, so Sales Handy is already a cold email automation platform for those people who are actually new here. It helps you grow and scale your lead generation efforts for the use cases like if you want to book more meetings, if you want to close more sales, if you want to sell your product or services. Then cold email is for you because it works better than any other channel. It gives you higher ROI if you compare it with SEO, if you compare it with paid marketing, if you compare it with other channels. So cold email is a very good start for you if you want to start your business. Maybe you are already doing it. You can also sharpen your skills. We have already helped 10,000 businesses around the globe starting their cold email outreach and benefiting the businesses. So what's the agenda today? So uh, I would just like to quickly walk you through that what we'll discuss and what's the core agenda here. So I'll show you that how actually I've scaled my outreach from 1,000 emails to 10,000 emails with achieving 99% deliverability. So this is what we'll talk about, that I'll share my strategies, my ways to you, and you can also implement with your outreach at any scale you want to do. Maybe you want to send it to 20,000 people, maybe 5,000, maybe for 500 people also. But if you are facing any issue with the deliverability, then this method can help you along. And I would just like you, if you want to throw any of the conversations here in any questions, I can just answer that. You can just put in your questions around here in the chat. So maybe I can frequently watch and answer your questions. And these are the milestones that we're gonna discuss in this webinar. So here's a quick view. Like in the first part, I'll just like to discuss that the very first thing that you want to do before starting out your cold email outreach or setting your deliverability is to know that how many prospects you want to reach out to. Well, that's a very important question because the core of the deliverability actually depends upon this. Second thing, I'll talk about that how to measure your deliverability. But that's a very debatable issue among all the cold emailers, and you'll find many resources around it. But I'll share you what I did to measure my deliverability and how you can actually do it. accurately and without fail. And you can also get some indications that what are the scopes that what are the areas where you can improve your deliverability. In the third part, we'll just discuss about the technical setups, the basics of deliverability, where you can improve and how you can do it beforehand. And the fourth part will discuss about that how you can actually write deliverability friendly copies that would help you to land in the inbox, because copies are also a main factor when you talk about the ESP's reputation, because they take a very serious glance over that what material are you sending into your prospect. So this is how it will help you out. In the fifth part, we'll talk about how you can set up your email volume setup, how you can set up your sending settings so that it is deliverability friendly and it doesn't burn your sender's reputation. At last, we'll talk about how you can scale when you have reached a certain benchmark of deliverability, when we have successfully done our experiment, and how we can actually scale it further to reach out to more people and to close more meetings, maybe achieving your target goal and end goals, right? So at the end, we'll take a final Q&A session, but you can also talk with me in this Q&A chat over here, so I can just answer all your questions. Yeah, so let me just move with the first milestone that, yeah. So before setting up your deliverability, the most important thing to know is that how many prospects you want to reach out to. And after that, we'll learn about it, how you can actually ramp up after you have decided your prospects. I'll just show you the template which I use, the calculator which I use. So it would be very easy for you to use it without noting it down or memorizing it. You can just put in your figures, you can just put in your conditions, and you can just come out with a number of your prospects you want to reach out to, right? And let me just throw another poll for you people, like how many prospects do you actually target? So it would just help me to know my audience better, and I can just figure it out. How many prospects are you actually sending emails to in a month, maybe in a week? So it's for a month. You can just answer that question. So I can see many people have answered for 0 to 2K, 60% people are there. So it means you are starting out with a cold email outreach, or maybe you are doing it for a long time, but you are reaching out to small segment of prospects. I can also see some people are also reaching out to 500K people. Well, that's very nice. And I would just be curious to know about what are your deliverability figures and open rates. Well, that's a very broad, nice view. Like I have an idea like how you people are doing. So that's great. So let's just move ahead and let's just see what I'm talking about. Let me just change my tab over here. So in order to know in the first step how many prospects you want to reach out to, this is the particular calculation that you will have to make. Let me just show you how you can do it. So this is the template. I'll be sharing it with you after this webinar. I'll email it everything, every resource, this tech, this recording, so you don't have to worry about it. So this is the calculator that actually helps you at how many email accounts do you need, how many prospects do you want to reach out. So here are three variables that you have to input. Like in first, you have to fill the number of prospects you want to reach out to. Like for example, if you want to reach out to 20,000 people, right? And maybe you want to reach them out in, let's say, 15 days, or maybe you can do it for n number of days also, right? So let's just say we want to reach out to 20,000 people in 15 days. So automatically this calculator will give you how many people you have to reach out in a day, and accordingly it will calculate the number of email accounts that you need to reach out to these people. Because in Sales Handy, we prescribe strategic cold emailing. We don't suggest you to send emails in bulk, because it's most often lands in the spam, and your email deliverability suffers, your reputation suffers, and even your domains are blacklisted. So bulk emailing is not at all suggested. We suggest to send emails in parts. So here is where this calculator would help you out. So this calculator would suggest that if you want to reach out to, let's say, 20,000 people in 15 days, and this is the figure that you want to reach out in per day, and this is the number of email accounts that you require actually to reach out to your prospects. It's actually based upon, like, for each email account and per day you have to send only 50 emails. Well, that's a recommended limit, and that's where I have tested my deliverability. Well, if you want to know like what would be the sending limit for per day for your campaigns, if you're using particular ESP, so I've just made another column here, and you can just test it out for your ESP. Like for example, if you want to test it for Gmail, like if you're using Gmail, So our Gmail, the limit is 500. Let's say if you are using Zoho Standard, maybe, or maybe you are using some another like Zoho Professional. So you can see the standing limit is changing here. So you can just compare it with your ESP. But for my suggestion, we should limit it to 50 emails per day per email account. And that is how you will come up with the number of email accounts that we need to connect into our cold emailing setup in order to reach a good deliverability rate. Right. For example, we just input the number like 20,000 people we want to reach out in 15 days. And that's a number we want to reach per day. Right. If you want to reach out in the duration of 15 days, so each day we have to send around 1,300 emails in order to reach our target of 20,000 people. And for that particular, we need 27 email accounts and 6 domains particularly. Like for each domain, you can create 5 mailboxes. So here is the whole calculation. And beside that, you have an idea like what would be the estimate if you just follow the ESP's daily sending limit. So ESP's daily sending limit would help you like to know that how you will suffer if you just don't follow this recommended limits, because I have tested it out and this number 50 is a magical number that allows you to uh, reach a good deliverability number. No problem, Emil. You can just we are recording this session. I can send you the recording if your system doesn't work. So no problem there. Okay. So we were just discussing that how you can actually decide the number of prospects and number of email accounts, and then when you have got the number of emails that you want to send in a per day, then we can jump on to email ramp up. Let's say you are starting out your cold email outreach, all of your email accounts, let's say this 27 email accounts that you purchased from any ESP are new. So what you have to do, next step you have to do is you have to set up the email ramp up. Now, whatever number you just fill in here, it will just get automatically mapped here. So you don't have to manually go and switch your numbers over here. So let's say we want to reach out to 20,000 people in 15 days. So our per day number for prospects is 1,300 people, right? So now, in order to get a better deliverability of 95% above, we have to slowly reach this number. Like, for example, if you have 27 email accounts, so from each email account, we have to start sending few emails. Let's say we start from 10 emails per day, and then we scale it like 10 to 15% every day. And for every account, we do it. And cumulatively, we reach the number after some time. So for any of your outreach number, let's say for 20,000, for 50,000, if you follow this ramp up formula, you'll reach your limit for per day sending at the 13th or 14th day. This is how I've experimented it. And let me just show you how it works. Let's say if your number is 40,000 prospects in maybe 15 days. So the total number of emails you want to send out in per day is 2,600, right? So what if you have to ramp up this 53 email accounts and you have to enable your ramp up? So again, you can see that after 13th day, you would be able to send 2,700 emails per day with your 53 email accounts. So that's how you reach your number. And after we have reached this number, then we can start a deliverability setup and everything that we need to scale your outreach. So the first basic need is to recognize that how many people you want to send out to, just calculate the number of people you want to reach out to per day and how many email accounts you need even to ramp up. And with this formula, you just have to send 15% more emails per day. And after 13th day, you would be able to reach the number like in total that you want to send out in per day, right? And how you can actually start your ramp up? Well, you don't have to do it manually. I can just show you how you can do it in Sales Handy. Well, it's an automated method. So like this is the dashboard of Sales Handy now. So in order to connect your email account, first of all, you can just go into the settings and you in the email accounts, you can just add a number of email accounts over here. As we talked about, for example, for 20,000 people, we needed 27 email accounts, right? So you can just do it from here. You can either do it from SMTP, you can use Google, even you can do it in bulk using CSV. So that's easiest method to add your email accounts in Sales Handy. Now, after adding each of the email account, let's say they are new, what you have to do is to enable the ramp up, like the method I suggested, improving your email 10 to 15% every day. So for example, you just have to click on your email account over here, and you have to go into the sending settings. Now you just have to toggle this on, this button, and this will do the magic for you. Well, it will increase your email warm up like 10 to 15% every day. And you can also customize this limit. Maybe you want to change it to 10%. Maybe you want to set it to 30%. But your number of days will increase or decrease from 30. But ideally, for 15%, the formula that we discussed in the template, you will need at least 13 to 15 days for reaching out your total number of emails per day sending, right? So this is how you actually enable the ramp up in Sales Handy. You have to do it for every account that you connect in Sales Handy. Like for example, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 email accounts over here. One is the Gmail, so you can count 4 email accounts. So for each email account, I can just enable the ramp up, and I can just follow the same method over here. I don't have to do anything manually. Ramp up will do the magic, and the 13th day I would be able to reach the number for the per day. And this is how you lay the foundation of getting a good deliverability. So this was the first step, guys. Decide the number of prospects you want to reach out to and enable the ramp up for every email account that you connect for your cold email outreach. So now I would just like to invite any questions. Is it possible for you to share this sheet? Yeah, right now, if you want it right now, I can just do it. That's no problem here. Well, I will be sending the sheet with everyone here. So let me just do it for everyone. Yeah, I am just attaching this sheet in the chat if you want. Yeah. So let me just know everyone gets it. You can just make a copy if you want to make any changes if you want to see. Right. So this is the template that would work for you. And I would also like to invite questions. If you have in this first part, then we can just move ahead. Thanks, Nicholas. You can just throw in questions in the chat if you have any. I can see 33 attendees here. That's a good number. Well, thank you very much for joining, everyone. Okay, I can just move along. If you have any questions, just throw it out. Okay, so let me just move on. Now we are cleared out at how many prospects we want to reach out to and how you can actually do it with ramp up. Like at the 13th day, you will be able to reach the number of emails per day. And after that, let's see what we have to do. So this was the first milestone, guys. We decided the number of prospects with the help of the template, and we started the ramp up. Now, what's next? Now you have to measure your deliverability. Like these 13 days are very critical because your email accounts are naive. Let's say you are joining new email accounts, so it would need utmost care. You have to make sure that you reach out to at least 95% deliverability. But how you can actually do it? Well, because we don't have any manual method of measuring the deliverability, you just can't track your inbox rate directly, right? So how you can actually do it? Well, people would say like you can use some warm-up tools, maybe a number of other tools. Well, using warm-up tool is a good method, but it doesn't always give you a proper number of deliverability figure. It just gives you an idea that how your emails are performing. But if you want to know that what actually your outreach is doing and how other ESPs are actually responding to it, I suggest you using Glock app. Well, Glock app is a platform that allows you to measure your deliverability in real time, and it also helps you automate your deliverability. Like for example, you are increasing your ramp up from 1st to 13th, right? So if you want to know for each day how many of your emails are landing in your inbox, then you can automate your deliverability using Glock app. For every day, you just get the report that yes, you are landing, let's say, 90% inboxes. So that's a good number. 95% inboxes at the end of the 13th day. That should be our target, reaching 95% deliverability. So let me just show you how you can actually do it with Glock app. So let me just change my tab over here. Just give me a second. Yeah, now I can change this tab. I guess I have a question. If I have an email going out as a specific person, let's say Richard, and it's going out as a company, how do you create so many email accounts without looking at fake? If I have an email going out as a specific person. Well, you mean you want to make many more aliases for your email account? So you can use secondary domains, Julie. Like I use, for example, if a company's name is Purple Inc., right? So you can purchase n number of domains, secondary domains for it. For example, purplehq.com, purpleactual.co. So in this way, you don't look fake. I'll just talk about the next slide, that how you can actually save yourself from this, from getting victim of fraudulent activities, how ASPs can mark you as a trustworthy center. So we'll talk about in the deliverability setup, that how you can actually create SPF and DKIM for every email account that you create for LESs. So in this way, you can create more number of email accounts without looking fake. I'll be discussing in the next slide. Sorry. Yeah, we'll talk about the Sherry. I'll talk about if your emails are landing into promotions and not in the primary inbox. Glock app is the key here. Glock app is the key, and it would help you land your emails into the inbox, because Glock app helps you to know the scope of areas where you have to actually improve upon in order to make your emails land into inbox. Let me just show you how you can do it. So this is the screen of the Glock apps. So let me just log in. So you can create an account on Glock apps. Well, Glock app allows you to maybe send some free or do some free deliverability audits for first few times. But again, it would go paid for you. But I say it's worthy for a subscription, because it would help you long term to measure your deliverability. Let me just log in and show you. Like when you are into Glock apps, you can just test every of our outreach that you do, like for every 13th day, like just we discussed about, like when we decided number of prospects if we want to reach out each day, then at the 13th day we would be reaching our goal. Like, so for every day you have to make your tests. Like for example, the first day you send 10 emails, right? So make sure like out of 10, your 8 emails, your 9 emails go in inbox, and the same goes with every day. You have to improve your deliverability, and for that purpose, this Glock apps will help you. Glock apps deliverability audits helps you. Let me just show you how the reports actually look like. For example, you can see here the number of tests that I have done for number of outreaches. So let me just show you how actually Glock apps work for you, how actually it helps you to measure your deliverability. So like for example, if we just go and see this one, so you can see that currently the inbox rate is 87%. So I know that like for example, out of 100 emails or maybe 10 emails for the first day, my eight emails landed into the inbox, and some landed in the promotion tab, and other landed into the spam folder. And it shows you like if your domain is at risk of blacklisting, what are the databases that actually have marked you as spam or flag domains. You can just get a list of all the databases from here, and you can actually email them if you want to get out of this blacklisting. But I would suggest when your domains get blacklisted, use another one, because it's a gone case. You can't regain your deliverability back. Although it will take a long time, but you can't wait for that. It's not worthy. So anytime your domains get blacklisted or flagged, I would suggest using some another secondary domain. Also, Glock apps help you know that how every ASP is responding to your emails. Like for example, you can see that AOL is marking some of my emails as spam and some of my emails into the inbox. Well, I can see that this fast mail, this ASP is landing my emails into the inbox. And for example, Gmail is doing good for me. And Hotmail, in the same manner, how Hotmail is doing and other ESPs are doing. So in this way, you know that which are the ESPs that are actually doing good for your emails. Like for example, you can see Yahoo, it's 50%. Like Yahoo marks my email as spam 50%, right? So in this way, you know that how your deliverability is working and how to make improvements for it. You can just change the tab and see if you need any content requirement. That, like Sherry, you raised the question, like if your emails are landing into the spam folder, sorry, in the promotions folder, right? So it will give you suggestions that if your emails are containing any HTML code, any pixels, maybe links and images, which which ESPs might consider as spam, so you can just go and check over here. And it also suggests you the action steps. It's a very long steps that it gives you, and it's in detail. You can just go and see that what are the number of uh, actions that you can take actually to prevent your emails going into the spam. So this is how Glock apps help you measure your deliverability, and you can do it for every day. I would suggest to automate your Glock apps outreach. Like if you want to automate it, here is an article I can show you, like how you can actually automate your Glock app. So this is an article. Let me just change my screen. So when you will just visit the Glock apps, you can just go into the FAQs and tutorials, and you can see that here's a detailed article on how you can actually automate your deliverability process. So you don't have to go manually every time, go into the Glock apps, paste your email template, download the seed links, and send your emails from your email ESP to get the results. It will just do it automatically for you for every interval of time that you decide. You can just customize it. So these are the steps that would help you create your automatic deliverability. So this is the key to measure your deliverability without relying on any other automated tools, any other warm-up tools. You can just measure your own deliverability, and you can come out of the problems that it suggests. So this was the second milestone, guys, that how you can actually measure deliverability and how you can actually automate it and target for 95% deliverability at the end of the 13th day. Like we discussed about the ramp up. So for the 13th day, you have to make sure like your outreach reaches 95%. Then only we can just go into the game of deliverability, and it helps you, like you don't waste your efforts. So ramp up is a way to prevent you from spending much time over something which is not working for you. You'll just have an idea in the first 10 days if your email are working or not. Then only we can scale, right? So let me just move on to the next milestone. And before that, I would just like to know any other questions. Let me just see in the chat. Wow. There are a lot more questions. How many Sherry's another question? How many alternate domains do you suggest I should have? Well, Sherry, here is in the calculator. Let me just show you. You can see it suggests you the number of domains required. If you just fill out your number here, let's say you want to reach out to 30,000 people. So it would just directly give you a number that you should have at least 8 domains for you. So this is how this calculator helps you. Let me just see any other question. Does Glock apps checks more number of professional inboxes than personal inboxes? Well, Nicholas, it's the way Glock apps does it, because they have this basic guidelines from every ESP. But I think the guidelines that they follow for the personal inboxes also applies to the premium or maybe professional inboxes too. It's just like the professional inboxes give you more number of emails per day. Like for example, Gmail gives you 500 free Gmail, and maybe G Suite or Google Workspace give you 2000 per day. That's the only difference. There is no other difference for the guidelines, because ESP's basic reputation calculation method is same. Next question is from Jagdish that I haven't received an email calculation. Well, I have dropped it in this chat, Jagdish. Let me just do it again for you if you haven't got it. So let me just know if you received it, Jagdish. It's in the chat. If you can see it. I have broadcasted is to all. Sorry. Yeah. There's a question from Ishita. How many alternate domains do I suggest? Yeah, I answered the question for the Sherry, Ishita. Yeah, you can just go into the calculator and see that how many number of email domains you require for each number of email accounts connect. There's another question from Jagdish, like, can you enter, say, let's 20 email sending accounts in one sequence to send 1,000 emails on that day? 20, let's say you want to send out 1,000 emails per day, right? So let me just go through a question again, Jagdish, like, okay, you want to send out 1,000 emails per day and you want to actually use 20 email accounts for that. So let me just put in, first of all, that if you want to reach out to 1,000 emails and in one day you want to reach out to, so you would need at least 20 email accounts for that and 4 domains. So this is the number that actually you're asking, right? So this is the number of email accounts you would require, and these are the number of domains you would require if you want to send 1,000 email in one day. I hope I answered your question, Jagdish. Yeah, thanks, Jagdish. So let's just move on, and I'll just keep answering the questions. So let's just move on to the third milestone over here. Like in the first milestone, we decided the number of prospects we want to reach out to, and then in the second milestone, we learned that how you can actually automate your deliverability setup with Glock apps. Well, that's a very good method of doing that. In the duration of 13 days, make sure your every email lands in an inbox. You have 95% email deliverability. So now let's jump on the next scheme. Is that What's next when you have set up all everything according to your block apps and you have reached your email, you have reached your healthy limit of per day at the 13th day. Now what's the next step? So now you have to make sure that your deliverability setup is good. So it contains three main points. The first one is a technical setup. The second one is a sequence score in Sales Sandy, which actually helps you know that what are the criteria that you want to follow before sending out your emails without wasting your efforts. Like, for example, what happens many times people send out the emails and their emails go into spam. Maybe their email reputation gets burned out. So you don't have any active method of doing that, right? So you have to actually test and see what's actually happening for you. But sequence score helps you beforehand, so you don't miss out any of the practices. And the third thing is the email account activity. Let's say Jagdish wants to connect 20 email accounts in a sequence, but what happens is we often use SMTP methods, right? We don't usually use native integration methods to send our emails. So what happens, it gives a very, it suffers if you don't use any of the email accounts. Like, for example, I have 10 Gmail accounts and Google Workspace accounts. I'm sending emails from them, but I'm not using it. I haven't logged in for them for a long time, maybe not for the even for the first time. So that's not a good practice. Make sure that you keep on logging in into email accounts and doing some random activities over there, because we have seen in Sales Handy that ESPs are becoming smarter day by day. So you have to be ahead in the game. Like, so you make sure that every email account that you use for cold email outreach, try to be active over there. So it helps you remove the suspicion needle from you. Like, ESP would trust you for that, and it would just help you out with your cold email outreach. So first of all, let me just show you how you can actually take care of your technical setup. Let me just throw you another poll here. Like, how many people do you actually find it tricky to set up your technical stuff? So let me just know how many people actually do it. If you are facing it hard time, or it's a cakewalk for you. Pawan, you can just hover over the timer. You'll see a question mark icon over there. You can just click, and the chat option will pop up for you. Let me know if it works for you. Anyways, I would be emailing you this stuff, and you can also reach out to me after this webinar. So you can just see the chat option when you hover over at the bottom of. You just bring your cursor over to the bottom of the screen. You'll see question Q&A icon popping out. So let me know if you can see. I have just dropped the link over here. I can just do it again for you. Yeah, here is it. So I can see just the result that 70% of the people have voted that they find it hard to do it, this technical stuff. And it's not a cakewalk for any of them. If you, maybe one or two people have just voted for it. So yeah, sequence score is the answer for all of those guys, because sequence score actually helps you to know that what are the things that you have to take care of your email deliverability without messing out any of the methods. So let me just show you, like, for a sequence of 100 score. So let me just show you how it actually works. So in Sales Handy, when you will go and just go into this tab of sequence score for any sequence, it you can just see that it gives you a score out of 100, that how efficient or how many things have you actually followed according to the guidelines. So email sequence score helps you take care of your email deliverability setup. So the first things first, like, you should have, it's a must if you want to achieve a good deliverability. So you should have your records configured properly. So three main records are there: the SPF record, the DKIM record, and the DMARC records. These three records are must if you want to set up your deliverability setup. Like, someone asked me before, like, if they want, Julie asked me, right? Like, if you want to scale up with more professional emails without looking fake. So this is the key. You have to set up SPF, DKIM, and DMARC for every email account that you use. So it will help the ESPs to look after that, and you don't have to worry about what your secondary domain looks like. You can make it similar, but the most important thing is that you have to make sure that you configure your setups. So sequence score helps you if you haven't set up your SPF, maybe you haven't set up your DMARC. It will helps you to notify it's missing from your record. And if you want to know that how you want to set it up, you just can click on this YouTube icon, and here are the tutorials that I have made, and many other guys from Sales Handy have actually made it for you. Like, you can just go through and see how you can actually set it up for you. The next thing, it's very important, is a custom domain setup. Well, if email tracking is important for you, for example, if you want to track your clicks, then you can set up a custom domain. If you don't want it, like if it's not a metric for you, then I would suggest you can disable the link tracking also, because it reduces the number of pixels and it helps you to make your deliverability better. So let me just, yeah, okay. So yeah, these are the things that you should keep in mind while setting up your deliverability, because sequence code helps you. You can see here a number of factors that you have to take into account before sending out your outreach, and these are the factors that would help you just set up your daily sending quota, that how many emails you are actually sending in a day. Like I just discussed, that recommended limit is that you have to set up 50 emails per day for per email account. So you can just go in each email account and set up your daily sending quota. Like for C, you can make it 40, maybe you can just make it 50. So in this way, you get a good daily sending quota, and your sequence score would improve. And it doesn't only takes care of your setup, it also helps you with your sequence. Like for example, if any of your sequence are disconnected, maybe your prospects are unverified, hard bounces are a very bad sign for a deliverability. It also helps you know that if your prospects are unverified, you can just use any credit tool, or you can use Sales Handy's credits to verify your prospects. And how many follow-ups have you added, how many variants have you added, how much your outreach is personalized. So sequence score actually helps you out over here, so you don't have to take the burden of going onto the web and searching for the resources, how you actually do it for every technical setup. So this is how sequence score actually helps you guys. So let me just switch on to this tab. So this is how sequence score actually helps you. And third thing is very important, like if you connect any number of email account, make sure you are active on it. So yeah, this was the thing, guys. And before moving on to the next milestone, I would just like to know, like, if you are using Sales Handy, how many of you are how many of you, let me just create a poll. Just wait a second, let me just create a poll. So yes, you can just answer it here, so I have an idea. Yeah, I just started a poll, you can just answer it. I can just pause and take questions if I have any. Yeah, I don't have any questions right now, so you can just answer this poll if you're using Sales Handy and if you're used Sequence Core. So let me just know in the chat that if Sequence Core, if you're finding any trouble in Sequence Core, or you have any suggestions for it, or maybe anything that I want to that can help me also. So yeah, more than 50% people have actually used Sequence Core. Well, that's a good thing. But most important thing is that you do it in the right manner. You have to follow every practices to get a very good chances of landing into the inbox, because those factors are experimented without compromising any of the suggestions in the sequence score. There is a high chance you'll land in the inbox. And with the ramp up for the first 13th day and following the sequence score, no one can stop you from landing into the inbox. So that's how you make sure your deliverability is good. First thing that you do is you make sure how many email you have to send, and next you set up your automatic deliverability audit. And third thing that you do is to set up your deliverability setup and taking help of sequence code to improve your deliverability, right? So if we have covered this part, if you are okay with this part, we can just move on with the next milestone, because I can see any question ahead. So the sequence, yeah, Ishita has a question, like the sequence gets affected if I add attachments to my sequences. Well, Ishita, it won't affect too much, but I would just like to know your use case. Like in cold emailing, we usually don't suggest to send attachments to the prospects. But if you want to do it, make sure you do it in the right way. Because Sales Handy has the guidelines for attaching your attachments. Like PDFs are a good way of reaching out to prospects if you're writing any other media. So think twice. PDFs are a good method for doing that, and it usually won't affect your sequence score. John has a question. I have used sequence co setup everywhere. I had low sequence co from email addresses that have a long history. Yeah, John, that if your email addresses have some past history, maybe some spam history, or maybe they have blacklisting, so it might show up in the sequence scope. So if you are using your primary domain, so I would just suggest, John, that you use secondary domains. For example, if your company name is Walters Inc., so you can use maybe waltershq.co. So in this way, you can get a new secondary domain, and you can just ramp it up with good deliverability. It won't take more than 15 to 20 days for doing it. And you can just take a pilot up with similar domains, and you can just do it for you. So yeah, if you're having a history with your email accounts, then it can show up in your email reputation. So in this way, you can help you out, John. Let me know if I answered the question. I would just like to help you if you need any more clarity. So moving along, let's just yeah, I'm on the slide. Wait, let me just change my screen. Yeah, okay. So we are on the milestone 4 now. Like we talked about the deliverability setup, but another most important step is that to write friendly copies. Copies are very much important, not only technical setups, SPF, DKIM, DMARC are important, custom tracking domains are important, having a good email reputation is important. But if you're not sending good material to your prospects, then ESPs would definitely create a barrier for you. So these are the 4 things in the slide that will help you out doing good deliverability rate. The first thing is that you use a mix of personalized tags and spin text. So it would help you actually create a multiplier effect. So what is multiplier effect actually? Like if you use a mix of personalized text and spin text, like spin text, if you don't know, spin text helps you create variations of your email copy. Like for example, you have a CTA book a meeting, like, and the spin text would allow you to create another variation, the schedule a meet. So it helps you create 2 different copies for 2 different prospects. So it creates a multiplier effect. For example, if you're using spin text in your copies used with personalized text, and you're sending out to 10 different prospects, and copy variations would become in order that every prospect will receive a different copy. So in this way, the ESPs know that you are actually a human and you are not sending it in automated way. So this is a very best a trick to overcome the barriers of the ESP and to make your copies human-like, much more personalized. So let me just share you an article with you, like how you can actually uh, learn more about this spin text and how to use it in your copies. So if you just go on the FAQs on Sales Handy, you will see here is an article. There are a number of articles on personalization. So you can just go into the spin text and you can see that how you can actually use it in your copy. So this is the syntax for the spin text, guys. You just have to start it with a spin and you have to end it with end spin, and you have to fill in the number of variations you want. So it helps you create a multiplier effect. See, this is the multiplier effect. Let's say, for example, you are using this number of spin texts, for example, 2 different spin texts, and for that you are using 3 different variations. So you will get 54 different variants of cold emails, and that's how you create different copy for each prospects. And that's what needed when you want to achieve high deliverability. So this is the first thing: use personalized tags and spin tags in combination and create a multiplier effect. Number 3 is to remove the spam keywords from your emails. Well, there are a number of spam keywords that you have to take care of. Well, if you want to get rid of the manual thing, you can just go into Sales Handy here. So let me just share my tab. So you can see if I just go into this particular sequence and it is copy. So Sales Handy already gives me the suggestions for the spamminess. Well, Sales Handy has a long dictionary of all the spam keywords that you are actually marked in the industry or over the web. So it helps you remove them from your copies, from your subject lines, from your pre-headers. So you can move around with a healthy copy. So this way you don't waste time on searching out 1,000 spam keywords. You just have to make sure that you make it green in Sales Handy and you can just move ahead. Let me just switch the tab again. The fourth thing is very much important above these 3 points, like help your prospects, make your copy help oriented, like target the pain points. Well, this might sound generic to you because everyone talks about helping your prospect, but believe me, I have experimented this, that using these 3 points and then using this fourth point, this increases your efforts by times. So help your prospects, write copy from point of view like addressing the pain points, know your prospect first, research about them, include icebreakers, include helpful CTAs, valuable CTAs, test out that how CTAs are actually working for you. Maybe some direct CTAs are working for you. If not, then try to help them. So in this manner, you write some friendly copies. So when you have a good deliverability audit, when you have ramped up your email, then this friendly copies would be a cherry on your cake, and ESPs would just give you a warm welcome landing into the inbox. So this is how you actually write your copies. So moving ahead, let me just see if I have any other questions. I have question from Sherry. Is Spintex similar to A/B testing? No, Sherry. It's different. Spintex allows you to create different variations of your copies, while A/B testing allows you to test two different copies. In A/B testing, you have static number of copies. Let me just show you on the screen in Sales Handy. Like if you can see here, this is the Spintex that we have used in this copy, right? If I zoom it out, zoom it in, this is the Spintex, and it would help whenever you send this email, it will create number of copies. It would each prospect would receive different variation of a copy. But if I talk about A/B testing, here you can see with A to Z testing, you can test up to 26 variants, and this is something different. In this way, you actually test a static copy. In this, the copy is already pre-written. In this, you test out that, for example, in the first copy, you have a shorter length of email, and then another copy in the B variant, you have some long text, long form of email. So you test these kind of things in A/B testing, and while you just create different variations of copy for multiplier effect through Spintex. I hope I answered your question. Oh, let me just see if I have another question. Nicholas, I have a question. Like, do you have a list of major spam keywords? Like, Nicholas, I can help you with that. After this webinar, if you can just email me, or if you are in the Facebook community of Sales Andy Cold Email Mastery, I can just DM you. We do have the spam keywords list, but it's actually in the system. But I can also help you manually to give you a list of all the spam keywords so you can take care of your copies. Jagdish, like, how do we add Spintex to Sales Andy? Like, Jagdish, you can just let me just show you again. Let me just show you again here. So I am on this Sales Andy screen, right? Yeah. Okay. So when you open this email editor over here, so you can see that in order to use a Spintex, you have to start it with the tag called spin, and you have to end your sentence with end spin. So in this way, and you have to break your keywords with a pipe. You can use a pipe to break your keywords, and this way you can actually use Spintex in Sales Handy. If you want more information, I've already shared this article with you. Like, you can just go on the FAQs and type Spintex, and it will just open up all the information that you require for using Spintex in Sales Handy. I hope I answered your question. Deepak has a question. What is first name? There. Well, this is a fallback, Deepak. A fallback is the thing that when you use, for example, let's say for any reason your first names are not working, or you might have missed any of the first names in your CSV. Like, you have 1,000 prospects, might be some of the prospects don't have first name, and you missed out. So there helps you actually giving you a fallback, so you don't have to it doesn't give you a technical error while the prospect receives it. For example, hey Deepak is your merge tag, like for, let's say, Deepak is not working, like CSV is not working for ESP, then they will just see if there is any fallback here, so it will just put up there instead of your first name. So it would be just like hey there, so you don't have to uh, your copy won't suffer any embarrassment. Like, it would still go into the inbox, and it would be treated very professionally. So this is how we actually use the fallback here. That this was the case for the fallback. Okay, thanks, Deepak. So let me just move ahead with this session. Okay, so we have discussed the fourth milestone. So let me just now discuss about the fifth milestone, that is how you can actually set up your outreach. Well, this is the key, and this is the final setup that we have to do. Like, in the first step, what we discussed about, like setting up your prospects, how many number of prospects you want to add. Then we automated our deliverability audit. We talked about sequence score. Then we learned about how you can actually write good copies for deliverability. Now, this fifth thing, we have to make sure that our outreach setup is good. What three things are required? Sender rotation. Sender rotation. What is sender rotation? Well, as we discussed, that you would need n number of particular number of email accounts to send your outreach. For example, you need 20 email accounts. Now, what sender rotation does it, you don't have to do it manually. Like for example, how you would decide that each email account should send only 50 number of email. For example, you have 1,000 prospects and you want to send it out from 50 email accounts. Then how would you actually make sure that each email account takes turns and how it distributes the email volume? So this is where the sender rotation comes in. You don't have to take the pain of doing it manually and distributing the outreach. Sender rotation picks up every email account in rotation, and in this way your volume is distributed in human manner, and emails are sent between human like interval. The second thing is to enable the email ramp up. We have already discussed this in the first section, in the first milestone, that how you can actually set up your email ramp up for 13 days if your ramp up rate is 15%. If you want to do it for 10%, maybe 20%, the number of days would increase or decrease for you, but the basics remain the same. And the third is the frequency of email between each email you send. So we have to take care of all this. So let me just jump again into Sales Handy and let me show you how you can actually use these three features to get a better deliverability rate. So let me just share my tab again. Let's just go on to the dashboard here. So if you talk about sequence scores, let me just show you how it actually works. So as I showed you, you can add multiple email accounts in Sales Handy using SMTP, maybe using native integration. You can also upload your prospects in bulk. So this is how you actually do it. Now, for example, you want to use senders rotation. You want to link, for example, 3 or 4 or 5 email accounts in your sequence. Now, for this particular sequence, I have, let's say, 9 contacts or 10 prospects, right? So if I just want to distribute it with 3 email accounts, so I just have to add my email accounts into Sales Handy, and I can just pick it up from here. If I have to add more email accounts from here, I can just pick and add more number of email accounts here. So in this way, I can do it for multiple email accounts. So if you have added 4 email accounts, so Sales Handy would distribute the email volume of 10 prospects, or maybe your prospects are 100 evenly between these email accounts, and all the rotation and each email account would take turn. Like for example, your first batch of email is sent from a particular email account, your first email account. Then your second batch of email will be sent from second email account. So this is how your email distribution is done in a human way. So ESP doesn't track you. It would help you boost up your deliverability. This is how your sender rotation helps you. Let me just throw you a poll that how many of you actually are using senders rotation. Are you using sender rotation? So yeah, so this is done. Let me just start the poll. So let me just know how many of you are actually using senders rotation. So it would just help me. Yeah. Okay. So I can see many of you are not using senders rotation. Okay. It's 75%. Well, guys, I would just like after going and starting out your outreach or testing it out, I would suggest that you use senders rotation in the same manner I have showed you. You can just visit the FAQs in Sales Handy. I have also created videos around it. You can see how you can actually use senders rotation. You can also know how many email accounts actually you can add into the sequence, and what are other different criterias and what ESPs you can use. So you can just go over the FAQs, you can see. I would strongly suggest, if you want to reach your deliverability mark of 99%, sender rotation is one of the key important factors over here, because until and unless you won't do it with sender rotation, you won't be able to reach that deliverability mark that efficiently. So I would just suggest you guys to do it. Okay, so thank you for this input. So let me just move on to the next. What happens, you have reached to your email daily, you have ramped up your email. Now for particular number of email accounts, you have reached your goal. Like for the 13th day, you are able to send as many as email account, as many as prospects you want to, and you have got 95% or 99, 98% deliverability rate with block apps. Also, you have having good sequence score. Also, you are adding good copies, and sales Andy is giving you good sequence score. And at the same time, you're also sending emails using sender rotation. So now what's the next? Now, what you have to do it, you have to wait for a while, maybe a week or two. Just try to stabilize your data. So this is the sixth milestone. Here I talk about, and this is the last one, like how you can scale it after reaching the benchmark. So let me just show you, and let me just share the tab over here. Now, once you have reached your daily sending limit, for example, if my target was sending, let's say 1,000 emails per day, so in this way, I can just do it maybe 10,000 in 7 days, right? So yeah, I can just change it here, and you can see this is how I scale it. Like, let's say for 10,000 emails, I've ramped it up, and at the 13th day, I reached this much total number of email accounts, and I use center rotation, I use sequence score. Now my deliverability rate is also good in Glock apps. Now how I should scale? Like I want to reach out to more people. So what are the steps there? So just try to stabilize your data. See the open rates that you're receiving. See the targeted reply rates that you are getting. Now, whenever you start getting 50% reply rates, maybe, and let's say 3%, 50% open rates, 3% reply rates, and you are also getting some bookings. So at that time, it's that's high time you should scale. But if your data is not stable enough, I would suggest to wait for a couple of more weeks, give it more time to stabilize your data, because you have to use multiple variations, maybe different copies, different CTAs. You might also test different prospect lists, different databases. So give time to stabilize your data. So whenever you are ensured and you are very much uh, sure about that this is working for you, and the data you are getting is of utmost deliverability and your quality is there, then stabilize. So what you have to do is you just have to input the formula here. For example, you reached your goal for 10,000 emails. So like you want to do it for 20,000, 50, or maybe 400K. So how you can do it? You just have to fill in this yellow section here, and it will give you that how many more email accounts you want to get. Now, you just have to add more email accounts in order to scale your outreach. Now, let's say we were using 29 email accounts to send 10,000 emails or 10,000 prospects. So if you want to scale it to 20,000, we need 57 email accounts now. Now you have to follow the same method. You have to follow the same method of email ramp up. Like you would be adding some new email accounts into your cold emailing setup, right? So ramp them up for the first 15 days. Again, use Glock apps for deliverability and repeat this method. And this way you get repeatability and then scalability. So this was the crack, and this was the strategy that I use. So this is the magic, guys. You have to repeat it, stabilize your figure, and then scale it. So this is how you safely scale to different outreach level. You can scale it up to 40 times here. You can see this even can go further. So in this similar manner, you ramp it up, you set up your deliverability, you repeat, and then you scale. So this is how you stay in a safe zone. You don't suffer, and you will get motivation to do it more, because now you know that what's actually working for you and what's not working for you. So this was the method and the strategy, guys, that I used to reach my mark. And I'm definitely sure that if you use this, you'll also get the crack of it. And I will be sharing everything with you. So this was the last slide, guys. So yeah, finally, this is official Q&A. So if you have any questions over here, I'll just answer them. Jagdish, can you create a sequence to run for 1 month, and can one create a sequence to run for 1 month and send emails a particular defined? Let me just answer the question. Just a moment. So Jagdish is asking that if you can create a sequence to run for 1 month and send emails at particular defined specific time of day every day. Well, yeah, Jagdish, this is possible. You can create different schedules in Sales Handy. Let me just show you how you can do it. Like for example, you want to make a different schedule. So see here in the sequence tab, you have different schedules over here. Like, so you can just set up that what are the intervals of time that you want to send emails. You can go into settings, and you can also customize your schedule according to different time zones, different timelines. So this way you control the time of your sequences, and you can also schedule it in advance for a month, maybe for 6 months, and you can add number of steps. So this is how you automate your outreach. Now, second question is from Deepak. Do you recommend any email finder or any email checker tool that has worked best for you? Yes, Deepak, in my last webinar, I actually discussed about the databases and the scrapers that I actually used with. If you want to have, I just email you the email deck and that presentation, so it can help you, because it due to some technical factor that recording was not uh, up to the mark. So I can share you the templates, and I can just share you the list of databases I used and what are the methods that you can actually use to make your to find your best database. Yeah, Nicholas, I'll be sharing this video. I'll definitely be sending this video recording after this webinar. It's already been recorded, so it would help you out to see if you miss anything out. Any more question, guys? So I think if you don't have any more questions, we can wrap up the session. It's already exceeded the time that we allocated. But I really appreciate your patience, guys, for staying this long, because this was the strategies that I used, and I felt that I should actually share with you. And I hope this would help you make your deliverability better from your past. So thank you very much for joining this session. And if you have any questions, you can just reach out to me at pritesh@saleshandy.com. And you can also just go into the chat and ask our team. They will help you out. We also have rich FAQs and video library. We keep on making new videos over there. So you can just do it. You can also join our Facebook community that is Cold Email Mastery by Sales Sandy. You can join it, and you can post your questions over there, your queries over there. So yeah, guys, this was all for now. And I would like you suggest some feedbacks over the email. You can just email to me at pritesh@salessandy.com, and you can write to me if you like this webinar or what are suggestions that we can do, or if you need any query, if you need any uh, help with your cold email outreach, I'll definitely help you out. So thank you very much for your time, guys, and I hope you love the session. I have a question from Ravi. Like, have you experienced any, say, a particular time to send out emails in different markets, say APAC and for Asia Pacific, I would say you stay for the time zone of you follow the time zone of Delhi. That works. And if you're using it for America, I would suggest to send it in EST. So that has worked for me. EST have worked for me for American region, and for APAC regions, I have sent it in Indian time zone. So it has actually worked for me, Ravi. So guys, if you have any more questions, you can just email me, and I'll be sending you the recording and all the resources over here. So thank you very much, and have a nice day. Bye. Meet you next time with next webinar. Thank you.